The light is on. I see the light. Customer's already pissing him on about it. It took 2 hours to do his training.
No, I'm not pissing off.
Okay, so we had what is this thing? A 6-speed?
6-speed.
Modern piece of crap bike.
One is a M8.
So we have an 06
Dyna
6-speed, first year, really weird. We have an M8 over here.
2018
18, and then we got a 17 twin cam.
Yeah.
So all three of these are different. So we took the gear set out of this one.
Yeah.
And put it back in that one. But we took out the shift fork in color. We wound up swapping these out because this is used.
Yeah, that was burnt on the twin cam.
And this one here had some other issues with the gears.
This one had
slightly bad. Third gear, you said?
Yeah.
The bike was not going very good in third gear after a short time frame. So, now the burned up one was the tranny you got, right?
Yeah, that was in the twin cam.
Okay, so you bought the two trannies from here from one guy, right?
Yep.
And you had the same problem on both.
Yep.
Okay. So let's show the differences between the M8 and the twin cam. Everything's the same except for this piece and the one gear. So if you put these two together, you can see how this gear here is going this way and this one's going that way. One's that way, one's that way. That means they don't go together. And this matching gear is cut the same way. This one goes this way, the other one will be going that way. Light went on. So that's the difference between the M8 and the twin cam. Other than that, all the other gears are interchangeable.
Yep.
Now, I was told the splines are different here, but I'm not sure about that yet. Probably like a thou or so, but not much. Okay, so what happened was here, when things are in here correctly, this shift collar is in the middle. Also, these nuts are equal, or the shaft sticking through here is equal. When you have it wrong, it's like this one, where the dog collar is rubbing against that gear and it's turning blue. And it also eating up the fork right here, which is just what would happen on this. It's the same problem. So, well, the reason this is like that is because it's bogus. Now this one here, the nuts actually look pretty close, but you can see how this one here is a little bit different height than this one right here. And what's going on is this washer here falls out when you're assembling this, and this gets stuck on the end of the spline on the counter shaft over here. Instead of slipping over this shaft here, this one's all bent, it won't go down anymore. It hangs up on top of this when you tighten it down, so it moves it up the thickness of the washer, because this is supposed to go over the top of this. And this is what retains these little snap rings in here that holds everything together. So what you got to do is you got to load this thing up all full of grease in here, pack it down, and then wipe everything off that's excess so that the gear that goes on here is dry. So when you assemble it, this gear will drop and the washer will stay on the shaft and you can push it together. So if you get everything all full of grease, when this gear drops, it pulls the washer down with it, and then we have the same problem. So that was the problem I had. I had to do it twice before I got it right. Once you learn the tricks again, it works. The first time the gear set locked up, the second time I had the gear set working, but the dog was too high and this was off. And it also rubs right here on the gear. So if you have these two gears touching each other, that's evidence that it's not all the way down also. But the big thing is it burns up the fork. The other thing is on the 06 transmission, this here is a straight cut gear set right here versus the M8. I mean, not the M8, but the, what is this bike?
Twin cam?
Twin cam. This is straight cut too. I thought they were different. The difference is it has the spring-loaded gear on it though.
Yeah, the M8 and the twin cam have the spring-loaded gear on it.
So that takes the backlash out in high gear is what that does. Oh, the angle's on this stuff over here. Okay. So this has a spring-loaded gear in the back, which is
the same spring-loaded on the M8.
Is this one right here?
Yeah.
So this is two-piece gear thing here. You see the spring inside of there. So that puts a load on the teeth, so it keeps it from going through. I got chewed up, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what year they changed the gear, but definitely the 06 is solid gear.
I
So,
think they actually, in like 09,
I think it
08,
was,
09.
I didn't think they changed the backlash for a
Yeah.
couple of years, so at some point they changed that gear. You look in the Harley book and see what year that gear is, that's when they changed. And this one here is all chewed up. So, but anyway, there's your big differences, is make sure that that washer is in there all correctly, and then that will line up correctly. So this guy obviously had both these transmissions apart, and that washer, I guarantee you, is going to be slipped down just like this, like that one was on this one. So,
It might have been why it didn't go back up. Because it...
yeah,
it
and he was popping out of gear, you said, is why he didn't like
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
the reason he's popping out of gear is because it's not staying in gear.
Right.
And you can see how the gear dog right there is all rounded over from popping out. The reason it's popping out is because it's not engaging all the way into that gear. It's hard against this gear because it's off by, 1/16 of an inch, too low. So that's why it's popping out of gear on them. The problem was trying to shift it, it wouldn't go into gear all the way either.
Right.
Once it was in there, it probably would stay in there, but when he's trying to power shift it or speed shift it, it'd probably pop right back out on him.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so there you go. So you need some more parts here. And if your bearings are really rough, like these ones were, replace them. Both of these doors have bad bearings.
They were rough.
They were rough.
They were rough.
And in case you want to know the bearing number, that's the bearing number for it. So anyway, there you go. So this one here is all good to go. Works nice and freely. Now the test to make sure everything's nice and free is your neutral should be able to turn like this when you're neutral. And that means you're good. Alright, that's it.